A lot of times people that are doing door-to-door sales, they just get fired up about that sale. So, because you get so many no's and then
Yeah.
you finally get that sale and they're looking for that adrenaline rush every time that happens. Is that what kept you going, or was it just the money overall of, man, I can make $50,000 or whatever the number is what you were thinking? I mean, what was the drive for you that really kind of pushed you to, because once again, knocking on doors to me it's pretty tough.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's very tough, and we don't sugarcoat it. Like it is one of the more difficult things that you can do. But again, I do really believe that if somebody can learn how to do door to door,
I
any other
agree.
type of sales job they have is going to be easy. For me, the first thing I did is I had a goal and I wrote it down. It was a number of sales I wanted to make my first year, and I had a goal to sell 442 accounts. That was the goal, and 42 came because that was my favorite number, and the 400 number came because I knew I'd make around that $50,000 mark. That was kind of my goal. So I had written that down. In fact, the company I worked for, they had a do or die goal, training, and we'd go in and we had to write it down. We gave the piece of paper with our do or die goal to our manager, and it was kind of a big deal. And I just remember the manager, I handed him my paper and he kind of looked at it and he's like, "Is this your first year?" I was like, "Yeah, this is my first year." And he's like, "Nobody's done that before, sold this many in their first year in our company." And I was like, "Okay, so," and I said, "Well, here's how," and he says, "Well, how are you going to do this?" I said, "Well, here's how I'm going to do it." And I had broke down how many sales I needed per month that I was going to be out there, per week that I was going to be out there, per day that I was going to be out there. I kind of had it all like dialed into, this is the formula. This is what I'm going to do. This is how many hours I'm going to work to get there. And I kind of threw him off a little bit, but he was like, "Well, good luck." He kind of, that was kind of my motivation, probably more than anything, was he didn't really believe that I could do it. So
Sure.
I had to prove him wrong.
Wow, wow. That is interesting because you had broke it down. You didn't even, I doubt you really knew like how many doors do I have to knock before a sale converts. You probably, fell into that. Did those numbers actually work out? Did you have a reasonable estimate of, how many hours you had to work to how many it would convert into a sale type thing?
No, I had no idea to begin with, but like
Yeah.
you said, as I got some experience and some repetition, I kind of had an idea of what it would be, and that actually made it easier for me when I had a formula, right? To
Yeah.
me, door to door is a math equation at this point. Like I know how many people I need to talk to per hour, per day, per week. That's what kind of revenue that will be generated by it. I actually did a little better, which was great. I sold, I think it was 474 accounts is what it ended up being. So I did a little better than my goal. But yeah, just with anything in life, if you have a goal and you write it down and you have some accountability partners, you tell people about your goal, I just think you're more likely to achieve it anyway. And that was a big help to me.